It's because I don't do. I mean, do El Paso comedians get choked out anymore?
Nah, they
A
get
couple
punched.
fights since I've been here.
We get punched.
Like it's
Yeah.
okay. It's okay to fight and dispute.
Yeah.
But like if you hold that for the rest of the year,
Yeah.
right? Like that's not the game. Like
I agree.
Like, man, you go anywhere else in the country, every comic will turn around being like, "Yeah, you remember when I beat the shit out of you?" And they'll be like, "Yeah, you sucker punched me." But they're all like, it's all kind of better for that. I don't know, man. I think this town, coming from this town, and being so far away from everything.
Yeah.
It's very hard to get influence from anything else that isn't from here.
I totally agree. And the thing about that is, there's times where because he no longer stays here, like, and we'll talk about that, like what made you leave. But he'll come back from Vegas to El Paso, and he'll know shit that I don't even know. I'll be like this, what happened with I'm like, what the, how did you know that? You don't even live here no more. I hear things.
But the biggest El Paso thing about me is my addiction to the chisme. It is, I try not to let it take over, but I am 100% the guy who, if I hear something going on, I lower the volume and I just listen. And I'll never bring it up until it's time to make a joke.
Yeah.
And then I'll say something like, like, "Oh man, that set died worse than your dog, Lando."
I heard this story the other day.
Oh my, yeah, dude, that was, man.
It's now fresh in my head because we were talking about it. Hey, that's the name of the
Dude.
game, right?
Yeah,
it is.
that dude, that's a spice of life, man.
It's
That's the
crazy,
seasoning.
man.
That's what we all want to hear.
Well, I just want to, because your particular style of comedy, what's your influence? Like, who was the guy or the person you saw that said, all right, this makes you want to do comedy?
Dog, failure.
Yeah?
If failure was an embodiment, I mean, for the longest time I wanted to do like a show where I found your earliest set and I made you sit through it, right?
Ooh.
Wow.
And I wanted you to sit through the shit and try to defend it, because at that time you're thinking to yourself, no, I deserve to get paid. You should pay me. You should buy tickets to watch me. What? What? I've been doing this 8 months. I don't know if you've heard, but. And then you fast forward to like when it clicks. And then you look back at that and you cringe so hard. So what ended up happening was, I have my typical influences. I loved Pablo Francisco. I loved old George Lopez stuff, and I really liked the typical stuff that they were feeding Latino comics.
Yeah.
But I didn't grow up like that, so it wasn't my voice. And then I wound up falling in love with the kind of theatric storytelling like Kyle Kinane and Eddie Izzard and Chad Daniels. When I started watching them, no opinions.
Yeah.
They don't really give their opinions,
Yeah.
right? They're not really polarizing the crowd. It's just, hey, this terrible thing happened to me. Let me tell you about it. You either with it or not. But at no point, I think the gap between who I am off stage to who I am on stage is now so razor thin that now it's just easy for me to be like, okay. And I think that's why I say failure was my big thing, because I hated all the other shit I was doing. And I saw comedians and how they tell you guys to do it, in certain markets where they're like, you need to do it like this. There's no fucking right way to do this.
That's what Mash Oats says.
That's what I say, yeah.
There's no fucking right way to do this shit. If it's funny, it's funny. If you can market it and make a buck off of it, you totally can. The old comics who hate the TikTok comics are mad because they're filling up seats, right? And the TikTok comics are mad at the old comics because they're keeping them from stages. There's no fucking way about this.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree with that.
It is. Go up there. Because of the comedy boom, I think there's a group of comics that forgot that this is fun.
Yeah.
And now they think of this is the way to stardom. They're treating it like how old LA actors used to do, where it was like, I go to every audition, I go to every class, every workshop, and that should earn me the spot, as opposed to, hey, do you love it though?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a
exactly.
major difference, man. We were just talking about that, actually.
Exactly, bro. Because some people are in and out of it. Like, I get it, but some people, you can tell. I know you've been in the game for a while, so have I, so you just barely
I'm
started,
still pretty new.
but you can observe and tell who's really about it.
Yeah, because when you see people who get off stage and yeah, you kind of reflect on it, but if you get off stage and it ruins who you are at a core, then why are you fucking doing this? Why are you? One of my favorite stories, and I'll call him out because I've been. He knows that I've told him about this.
Yeah.
But I remember when Lando, who's been doing it for as long as I have,
Yeah.
there was a moment in there he did a set and a joke didn't work and he flipped on the crowd. And he flipped on the crowd and he did typical shit, but he flipped on the crowd and everything. And I remember his girlfriend at the time pulled him off stage and asked him if he was having any fun doing this. And he said no. And she was like, then please stop.
Damn.
Yeah, dude.
Because it's like a weird addiction. Some comics, some entertainers do it because they love the limelight. Some entertainers do it because they think it's a fast track to relevancy. But then there's some people who do it because they can't picture themselves doing anything else.
That's what I was talking to Iggy about the other day. It's like, you can tell some people are just like, they got out of high school, they got bullied as a kid, so they found another group to go into, and then they end up turning into the same bullies that fuck with them in high school. And they treat the scene like that. Like, they call me like, this is my mic, I do what I want. And you're like this, what the fuck is wrong with you?
I think every occupation has a set of bullies too, though.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
I know tattoo artists have their fucking like.
Oh, dude, for sure.
Yeah.
You get people like, it's all like style based too. They'll be like, oh, you do that? Psh, you're a pussy.
You American traditional style.
That's exactly what I was
What
getting
a
at.
big old fucking queer, right?
You don't do that? You do realism?
Oh yeah. Oh, you're really shitty with colors. All right, fucking good luck. Why don't you just put your designs on the back of a Silverado truck?
Usually the ones that talk shit like that, it's like they talk shit about it because they don't do that and they haven't put in the necessary like grind to be
Yeah.
able to do that. It's usually like American traditional dudes that'll talk shit against like portraits.
Oh, for real?
But you're like, do a portrait, and they can't.
But like, think about it. Like, was there bullying in selling the sex toys world?
No, at all, not at all. Not one bit.
They'd be like, why is this guy pushing iVibes? Like, they're not even that good. You know, what a fucking asshole, right? Are you selling the old Tara Patrick's? What an old bastard. Get with the fucking new shit.
Stop hustling these rabbits, bitch. Let them go.
It was a phase. It's a fucking rabbits were a phase. We're about roses now.
Oh shit, yeah.
That's facts though, but it's crazy how like everything kind of, you can kind of tell. And then some people like you could tell like they just want to belong somewhere, like they
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
lost.
yeah.
I can look at people I observe, they just, and they specifically don't want to be a well-known comedian. They just want to be around a group of people that they can just kind of be themselves around.
And you'll find those people who are trying to play like King of the Hill with these little professions, and they're usually the ones that never leave that town. When you wind up realizing that the hill you're on is a small microcosm part of a bigger fucking hill,
Yeah.
you know, and you go to another one, you see it, and you start realizing like, the fuck was I stressing out about this mess, right? I was live in Vegas. There's a comic I was working with who was upset that his show got bumped at a comedy club because of this European comic that none of us really never heard of. Like, no, he wasn't really a household name, right? But then he was upset. He's like, why would they bump me? Only to find out that dude sold out 2 shows, right? And it's just because you don't fucking know him, right? The world's bigger than you.
Exactly.
The world ends with you, but it also is bigger than you. So fucking have some fun. Go have some consensual random sex. Go
Consensual.
collect stories. It's weird that you gotta like. I heard you snore, bitch. It sounded like a yes. You know, go develop stories to tell to tell the future generations, to tell your grandchildren, to do that shit because that's what's gonna happen. You realize that our grandchildren are gonna be like, so you were how famous on what app?
So when did you start telling stories in your jokes?
I think it started. So I used to have one story that was my anchor set, and I had it when I got started. Right?
Okay.
It's quite possibly like it was the more popular set that I had, which was the wheelchair story.
Oh yeah.
Right. I had that story for the longest time. It was fresh when it happened, and I talked about it and just carried it with me. And people didn't. I would try to do opinions and everything like that, but it would always end with that.
Okay, yeah.
And that story was so strong that it kind of forgave how shitty the rest of the set was. When I finally made the commitment to just focus on that, it took. Was living in Vegas for maybe about 2 years, maybe like the year right before pandemic. It's like 2019. I started getting more into stories. I wound up living with a YouTube streamer, right, who was really popular, and I watched how he would talk to his crowds. Young kid too, and he was getting paid with his sponsorships. He was getting paid to sit there, play Valorant, and then stop, and then he would pause the game, and just get into lobby and just start talking to his fans, and they would just throw money at him. And I was older, so it's just kind of like, how do you make that work? I started live streaming, and I realized that as I started live streaming and telling stories, it started off with like live streaming, and if I had 10 people watching, and 6 of those people knew who I was, those 6 people would corroborate my story because they were parts of it, and then the other 4 were like, oh, this is all real, and then it started compounding into itself. And then I just realized it was so much easier for me. It was so much easier for me to start like just being real about it.
Yeah.
I found that it was easier for me to tap into how I felt at the moment when that shit happened, whatever in the storyline happened, and then put that up on stage. And I'm grateful that people are resonating with it. I have more people not remembering my name and not coming up to me and being like, you're the guy who fucked that girl in the wheelchair on the trampoline. So, yeah, and I think that that's kind of what the market's going to right now. It was the off product of the Twitter comedians, the guys who were funny for 140 characters.
Yeah.
You could have been real clever, and that was great. Cool. Can you piece that together to a 10-minute set? So I think story-based comics, and because content is now constantly being digested and thrown in and thrown out, now they want to hear your story. They want to hear why you got to the point you got to. And then when the show's over, they follow you online, and then when you end up doing stories and you're like, I'm getting shit-faced over here, it makes sense. They're like, yeah, that's how that guy is.
Oh yeah. Honestly, like with his comedy, since I've known him for so long, it's like I said, it's off stage, on stage, it's kind of the same person. You get the same. Honestly, that's him. Me, I'm different, but him. Once he's off stage, it's like the guy on stage is right there. There's no in between.
I drink a lot.
Yeah, that too. I was telling Zeke and Sharita, I said, I don't think Adam has a liver. Like, I don't think he was born with a liver, dog. I don't know how you do it, but every time I look at his stories, it's 6 in the morning, he's barely going home. Oh yeah, I'm barely going home, guys. I'm like this. He's been up doesn't look tired that much. And if he does, I don't know how you fight it, but he just, and it's all this, that's how, and everything he says on stage is truthful. Like, there's no, like, I'm going to over-elaborate this shit. No, it really happened.
That kind of honesty and that kind of, like, transparency, because it takes a while, right? You start thinking about the stuff that you wouldn't want to put up on stage. And yeah, there's parts of me that I don't like talking about on stage because it's either I don't want to put up the effort to defend either how I feel or how my opinion works, or shit that I did back then where they delve too far into it, like politics, big fucking one, right? No matter how I feel, I don't like talking about it on stage because I don't like having the conversation. It's not that I feel lesser about it. I feel just don't want to fucking have it. And now with story-based stuff and how almost ridiculous some of those stories are, like the fans that do come up to me. I was doing a story about dating a girl with an autistic son, right? And how during the time I didn't know what autism was. And so I was confused. I was like, I don't know what autism is. I just, noticed that she just feeds him chicken nuggets, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And so when I asked her, I was like, hey, so why chicken nuggets? And she's like, oh, it's because he's autistic. But she didn't explain it after that. So I just thought autistic people means that you just love chicken nuggets.
Just love chicken nuggets.
And no one fucking clarified that shit with me. I did that story on stage, and Katie Morgan, porn star.
I know who that
was
is.
at my show. Of course. She was at my show, and she ran into the green room, and she was a little like, "Oh my god, my boyfriend is an autistic kid, and I fucking love him, and and I bought some merch. We took some photos. She's been a very, very cool fan. Katie, fucking happy, congratulations on the pregnancy and the baby." But like shit like that, dude, they resonate way more with you if you're like real honest about it.
Facts.
Fucking go up there, say the worst things that fucking happened to you. Deal with your trauma that way.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Most of the stuff I've been working on is stories lately. Piecing them together at first is kind of fucking difficult.
It's rough.
Yeah.
It's very difficult because I kind of feel that sometimes the younger storytellers, it sounds like, have you ever had someone try to describe a dream to you?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then like they want to tell you their fucking dream, but what does it mean to you?
Yeah.
What is it fucking, what is it, how does it impact your fucking life? So you just kind of sit and just grin and bear it and everything, and you're like, oh, and it was a cow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So I think that's where it starts. You kind of have to sound like you're not telling them about this whole entire dream that he went to a place, and then when he got to that place, he doesn't even go to that place, which is crazy because we talked about going to that place, and he's just like, what the fuck? Like, the fucking...
Yeah. Cause, you're still essentially telling jokes.
But see, that's good because I'm not really too much of a storyteller. I just kind of like throw it out. But I think with you guys, that's what you guys do. It's like you have to keep people, get to people's attention that whole time, and you guys are really good at that. Like you have to have that voice, and then just have that where people go, all right, tell me more. Like, oh, tell me more.
Yeah, that's why they if they bought into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and there are people who are still watching all of the Disney Plus shows, no matter how bad they are, that's how bad and starved we are for stories. Is that we will totally sit through, what was the Nick Fury one? Secret Invasion.
Oh, yeah.
God, that's so bad.
It was awful, man.
I've been hell-bent on telling stories just in general since, like, when I was in college, I made, like, 2 short films.
Oh.
And this was, like, 2004, 2006. They didn't make any fucking sense. So I turned them into music videos. They looked dope, because I had the visual skills, like, down, but the narrative telling skills was just not there.
That's the hardest thing,
right?
Is you're not telling the story, you have to show the story, right? And it's kind of almost the same thing in stand-up comedy, because I can go up there and tell you, so I went to a place, there was a comedy show, I got stabbed. That's it, right? I can visualize and stylize it all I want, but now I have to fucking show them how shocked I am. I have to fucking show them how defiantly drunk I am, and I'm fucking...
Yeah.
So that way, anything I say thereafter, they're like, well, yeah, it's coming from a drunk, belligerent guy. I love that shit.
Which, also, you get real with it. I'm gonna be real with it. Because he did the autism joke. I remember a couple years ago at Love Buzz, and they didn't see the beginning of the jokes. They didn't understand what he was talking about. I think it was a couple. They walked in the middle of it, so he's telling the joke, and right away, I think the woman started fucking just.
Oh, I still have that video. Somebody, there's
What happened?
a internet celebrity, shout out Vincent Marcus, who filmed the whole entire interaction, sent it to me. I'll send it to you guys. You can fucking splice it in.
Oh yeah,
here.
dude, it was,
But
dude.
it was a guy who threatened to fight me because I talked about autism, and then he said, "Autism's not a joke," and I said, "What if I'm autistic?" And it got crazy. It got crazy enough, and I said, I tried to address him like, you jumped in the middle of this. At no point am I making fun of autism, making the fact that I don't know what it is. And I think that's my niche, that I found a way to talk about very terrible things, but to make myself, like I'm not punching down, I'm the idiot. So, like I said, sleeping with a girl, drunk, sleeping with a girl in a wheelchair on a trampoline, right?
Yeah.
I did that. I was the one who fucked up, right?
Yeah.
And no point does it fit a comedic narrative where I'm sitting there and I'm all like, and then fuck that bitch, right? I openly, like Danny Trejo, fucking make myself the villain and everything. So that way it forgives any of those intrusive thoughts that I can throw out, and I'm like, well, what were you expecting? This is part of my brand now.
Yeah.
So it helps with the storytelling. It's the Robert Rodriguez, effect where you're just gonna be like, by the way, Robert Rodriguez, if you're watching this, try to do an Irish crime film. I'm just curious on how that will go.
Huh. I like this idea.
But the thing is, when it was happening, the look on your face, because they're interacting, but he kept smirking. Like it was, I saw it. You were just like this. It's just interaction. That's what made me laugh even harder at it, dog. And you were trying to explain yourself, but they were just like, she was just so upset she didn't want to hear anything.
How did it end? How did it fizzle out?
I think he called me a chicken nugget, and I said, I'm a chicken tendy. That's what you were, chicken nuggets. And I was all like, look at me, I'm worth a chicken tender. Being such a douchebag. And then, funny enough, there are two members of the comedy community back then who are staunch autists. Both of them stood up and they're like, I have autism and I think this is funny, right? One, I'm not going to mention her name because I feel like it'll summon her.
Oh shit! I already
yeah.
know where you're going with it. Go ahead.
You all know who she is.
Yeah,
I
I
already
think I
know
know what you're talking about.
And then the other one is known as one of the El Paso's biggest hecklers. And I even called him out and I was all like, look, she's got autism. He doesn't know he has it. They're having a great fucking time. and I think that's the thing I've learned is that a lot of people, they hear these little trigger buzzwords.
Yeah.
And just contextually, they automatically get on guard. I've seen it happen with any comic who tries to bring up that's what the politics thing. Even if you said something funny about the president, right? There's somebody there, no matter if it's funny or not, who's still gonna fight you for it.
Yeah.
Right? Which has never happened before. You've never seen anybody like Bill Clinton was a fucking. There was just like, even those who voted like, yeah, but sense of humor,
Right.
Yeah.
And it goes both ways, right? If you turn around and be like, well, you know what? What if he's doing some good things? And they're like, fuck you, and it's not fucking worth it. To me, I hope stronger comics keep doing that for me right now. I'm trying to get a fan base and a bag. That's
you.
what we're trying to do. Build a platform so I can.
Got you.
So you live in Vegas. Was that your first choice when you left El Paso?
No, I didn't know realistically what my first choice was.
Yeah.
I just knew I was frustrated here. I was
Yeah.
frustrated in El Paso.
Makes sense.
I was extremely creatively done. I stopped getting recognized for any stand-up I did and started getting recognized for all the events I would throw. That was like, oh, you're the bingo guy, you're the karaoke guy, you're the trivia guy. And it started getting my nerves. And I knew I didn't want to to just be that kind of a barfly. I am a barfly. I know a lot of people who make moves and everything like that, but I didn't want to be there all the time. I
Yeah.
wanted more. And at the time, I was dating somebody who was living in Los Angeles, and I was on my way to go visit, and I was kind of entertaining the idea of doing the LA thing, but it seemed fake off the bat. It seemed something that I didn't. I definitely had a bias against Los Angeles comedians because it just seemed kind of hokey. It's shit that I'd already heard. It was nothing new.
Yeah.
And
I
it
see
goes
that.
back to the same thing where I'm like, I'm in El Paso and I'm seeing the same fucking new. It's nothing new. It's the same old shit. And when I got to LA, it was the same old shit.
Yeah.
And then I go to Vegas and I just spent a week in Vegas just on shows. And I saw so many weird and interesting things that piqued my interest. And then it kind of unconstipated the fucking clutter.
Nice.
And so I don't know if that's where I'll stay,
Yeah.
but it was where I needed to be at that time.
What other places you like that you've been to?
So this is gonna sound so ass backwards. One, I do love the Bay Area. Bay Area comedians are strong. The scenes are fun. The shows are a blast. Right? The fans are so cool, and it's not as they're pretentious to themselves, but they're not pretentious to the career of comedy.
Yeah.
You know, they respect it. Okay, I see you're hustling and everything like that, but they'll turn around and being all like, "Yeah, well, we were into that band way before." You know,
Yeah,
like,
that's right.
Denver, the Colorado scene is amazing. He's so sick. A lot of the guys from that whole entire kind of Four Corners-y-ish area have it going on. So I've seen some of the most unique shows, some of the most unique comedians that you'll never see mainstream shit, but you will go to every one of their shows because you're just like, I fucking love it when they just talk.
Nice.
I do like certain corners of Austin. It kind of sounds like the cheesy ass answer, but Austin has a lot of comedians that are new and who love it. I'm not gonna say that they respect it because I'm not gonna make that judgment there, right? But they love it, and they love it enough that if you are funny, they don't look at it as a competition because of how many stages there are.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's just so many places for them to go that it's hard for them to turn around and being like, "Fuck this guy! Why did he get the spot?" It's gonna turn into like, "No, the guy's good."
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? No, he's good. Good for him. Whatever. You know, he's at a Creek in the Cave or he's doing a Velve showcase. They don't really have. It's gonna sound really weird. They don't have time to look down at each other because they're so ADD that they're making the next fucking thing. That's why it sounds like it's a pretentious ass place. That's why it sounds like, oh, you're a guy who's also got your own fucking podcast and now you're fucking filming content, comedic content with OnlyFans creators and then you're doing all this, right? But is your 30 minutes strong up there? They don't care. They don't give a shit. They're making fucking money and they're being funny while doing it. So Austin's good, and I do have to give my love to the Indiana family. South Bend has always been. I go there every drinking holiday, and so we spent St. Patrick's Day in Notre Dame doing the whole weekend at the Drop.
Nice.
And they know how to take care of comics out over there. The people there are interesting as fuck, and they know how to fucking drink.
Shot bet, bro.
Yeah,
bet.
those are my spots. Those definitely spots.
What's
I
your
want to see more.
What's your go-to drink? What do you like?
But so my preferred, and this is my, hey, I'm in a professional setting.
Yeah.
Right? So I gotta not go fucking heavy. Is I'll walk into a place and I'll usually get anything with a green bottle beer, right? Stands out amongst the fucking Millers. There's a reason why. Right? So I go in there with a Stella because I can always fuck with the paper in the second I'm doing that easy icebreaker joke, right? And I would go into places and I would order the worst tequila they have.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
No salt, no lime, just straightforward. Because that always garners the attention of like, oh shit. Crazy part about that is my preferred is I fuck with a good spicy mule. I fuck with a really good spicy mule.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
I used to,
yeah.
now I just love mules though.
Yeah, they're refreshing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, okay, cool. And I'm not.
What makes it? What are they putting in that's spicy?
Usually you'll find some like you'll always find like a jalapeno fucking sliced up.
Okay, yeah, that's
in
what I was
there.
wondering.
Yeah, they would do something like that. I remember I used to drink mules the same way, dog.
I
When
like
they
mules. I never had a
uh,
spicy one.
or
though.
when they put Jameson instead of the vodka,
Oh yeah.
that one really hits. That Jameson, dog.
Does it have a
Jameson-
different name?
I forgot, they call it I forgot, like Irish mule or something.
Drunken mule?
Something like that.
It's the Compton mule.
Compton mule.
I mean, yeah, I think I'm at that age now where like, yeah, fucking beer bloats me real quick and puts me to sleep. Right? Doesn't matter how many performance enhancing drugs might be getting. Doesn't matter, but it always fucking bloats me out.
Yeah.
And then I just became like a liquor drinker. I had a girl I dated who got me into paper planes. And you know, they're fucking nice. I think it's just a good mule and a decent ass like smoky fucking cocktail. I'm down
That's
to
more
try
your
it.
speed too, man.
Down with it.
Yeah, I remember that was more your speed. I don't want to go back to the past, but I remember before you left, you noticed how it was to be not in front of the mic, but you had a production back in the day. It was Heather's Humor. I hope I say I can't pronounce my H's that much for some reason, and I'm not even drunk. But I remember you had that, and I was telling me and Jib were talking about it, how it was broke up in different factions.
Yeah.
And at one point, it was your Heather's Humor, it was Laughter After Hours, it was Refried, and then it was Jerry's Underground Comedy. And it was like all these little cliques. And honestly, you know how I get introduced to the scene? Mind you, Jerry's changed, so he's a different guy. But when I first got into the scene, Jerry used to wear this cowboy mask with the cowboy symbol, like a little laugh Joker mask, and he was talking shit about Tony C. And just blasting him on the comedy page. I'm like, who's this dude? Why is he talking shit about Tony C? He's like, Tony C, you know, he always wears a blazer. He's all like, oh, he's just talking shit. I don't care. But it was all broken up in factions, and eventually everybody started like, it was this beef, dog. And it was, for some reason, a lot of people hated Adam, dog. And I didn't know why. I was like this, before I even met him, I was like, no, man. I'm like, what the fuck is he doing?
It was mostly the bigger producers because I come from a bar background. I come from you know, hanging out at bars and you know, working and doing a little light work promo with them and so I was, like I said, kind of professional barfly. And so when it came to like, oh, hey, I think I really like comedy. Maybe I could start producing shows, right? Because these other places are not particularly my vibe. I could create something for myself. So it was easy for me to reach out to places. And I was like, hey, I'm interested in doing this. And they were always very cool about doing it. And I think it rubbed people the wrong way because a lot of them were saying that, you know, you can't just throw a comedy show out at an outdoor patio. And I'm like, well, why? Because it's noisy. And I'm like, okay, then get funnier. Like, I don't know.
Get funnier.
It's like, well, because what if it's loud and shit? Well, then get fucking so funny that it just envelops them, right? I wanted to create a scene where you can go over there and the whole entire focus was literally to get the bar to keep making money. I wanted everybody who enjoyed the show to have a beer and then constantly just keep ordering it because they were laughing so hard, right? And I think I may have been a bit cavalier with a couple of the producers out over here because I was definitely, you know, all of us have our social awkwardness that you were dealing with. And at that time I was very, very much like, why don't you guys just do this? And I think it pissed them off because a lot of them told me, you know, well, you just can't. And I'm not trying to be inspirational in that shit, but
Yeah.
I think I learned a long time ago that like whenever they told me that you just can't, it's just because they couldn't.
Makes sense.
So it was like, oh, okay. So it was easy for me to, host comedy shows at hookah lounges. It was easy for me to invite all of my friends and then not to watch me perform, but it was to watch you guys perform.
Yeah.
That was the whole entire point. I wasn't trying, they were going to be friends of mine anyways.
Yeah.
But I wanted them to enjoy y'all. And so it was easy for me to fill the seats and then be like, oh, you guys fucking like Otis, right? And 'cause
Yeah,
a lot
exactly. I
of,
remember,
a lot
man.
of them would come up and they'd be like, fucking Otis. And all my friends all of a sudden became fans of Otis.
Nice.
And I realized that's why this is about me. I liked being the liaison between things. I liked being the guy who you went to go solve the problem at the time. But I know I was upsetting them heavily because I still come from a family of punks. I like going against the grain. I like having that shit blow up in my face and being like, whoa, we're not doing that again. Just so I can have the story to turn around and tell later,
Yeah.
oh man, we tried this. You guys remember that? Oh fuck, that was terrible. And that's I've realized that the other producers are terrible teachers.
You still produce anything?
Every once in a while. When I moved to Vegas, I was producing my own shows. It took a few years because I didn't want to.
Yeah.
I had this really popular Thursday night patio show in the Arts District of Vegas, which is like the really cool spot.
Yeah.
And I kind of did my own little SNL style bookings where I'd have a band, I'd have like a unique band, open the show, put up a couple comics, band go up in the middle, a few more comics to wrap it up, and then band closes it out.
Nice.
And so it incorporated the fans of those bands to be fans of the comedians, but it also made those comedians realize that they had to be as explosive as the bands that I would book.
Yeah, that seems smart.
Oh, yeah.
So like I would book unique ass bands, and then my co-producer, she would help me out with a lot of connections with that. So we had like there's a band, one of my favorite bands over there in Vegas. It's a band called Decaying Tigers. They play on all just a electric kit, but the guys modified 3 Game Boys.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah,
To
yeah.
be MIDI pads. So he has just loopers on Game Boys. And then they cover, old fucking Tony Hawk Pro Skater soundtracks.
Wow.
You're hearing an 8-bit version of My Friends Over You by Simple Plan. You're hearing Mr. Brightside, and everybody's just, no singing, no nothing. It's just that, and then they close off with Mortal Kombat.
Sure.
So of course you're gonna love that shit.
Yeah.
So
Hell yeah.
imagine the band opens up the show and you're the first fucking comic.
That's fucking cool.
How
Oh,
are you
so you
gonna
gotta
be
bring that
you
fucking
have to
energy,
fucking
yeah.
and the thing, I'm not telling you gotta be fucking
Yeah.
I'm just saying you have to be strong and funny enough that it warrants the ticket price it costs to get them in there.
Yeah.
And I was doing that every fucking week.
Yeah.
And eventually it was successful, but then I started going on the road more. And I guess when I wouldn't show up there, they'd have sales slip. And then I was like, yeah, well, I'm not canceling the show because I'm not here. It ruins the momentum of everything. So I stopped producing because things started going well for me. And I still have my hands in a couple things. And I help out other producers by recommending comics. And it's not doing favors. I stop referring to it as like I'm doing you a favor. I'll turn around being like, okay, hey, Steven fucking killing it.
Yeah.
I think you can throw him 5 and you'll be satisfied with it. And these are like the bigger shows. These are like
Yeah.
the Dirty at 12:30. These are the fucking.
Do you think that like the producing like helped your comedy career any?
It made you appraise the time a comic's on stage better.
Okay.
Because I understand comics have their bad nights. You're gonna have your shit nights.
Yeah.
You're gonna have those nights where it just it didn't work out for you and stuff. And when you are a producer, you got to do everything you can to just keep the crowd's interest and the bar engaged. If there's nobody at your show, cool, entertain the bartender. You know, things like that, where you start realizing like okay, cool, I'm going to be focusing on the good things about this, and I'm going to start putting up comedians who are solid.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like the idea of booking comedians who are bringers, right? I'd rather you come to the show because you know it's a show and you don't know anybody on the fucking lineup.
Yeah.
It could be somebody you know, but no matter what, it guarantees your crowd because you know the vibe that, as a producer, I'm trying to convey. You guys will fuck with it. It doesn't matter who the fuck is in it. You know, it's like it's a fucking. I took the idea from it was an interview with Edgar Wright, where he's just all like, "Yeah, I mean, I don't try to put my cast forward. I'm telling you who's on the fucking movie, right? If it's there, it's there. But if not, you're gonna watch the movie because it's gonna be a different style." And I think a producer, after producing, made me respect it more.
Yeah.
And made me realize that, bro, we can throw showcases till we fucking die, dude. You know? But what makes it the show that you want to be on?
That's a good
That's a
question.
good point, yeah.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, because you always hear that thing. Like, everybody's always talking about, like, if you're a producer, you know, takes away from your, like, comedy and shit like that.
It took a while. I'm not going to say it was easy, because it really wasn't. It fucking, I mean, it stressed me out to move. You know, it stressed me out enough where I had to leave.
Yeah.
But I think if you are a really strong-ass producer, right, it's the reason when I produced shows and I was hosting shows, right, and I put myself as the host of stuff, I didn't do any material. I stopped throwing out material because I'm probably going to be here next week. Instead, I was going in there and I was saying hello to everybody in the best way I can.
Yeah.
While coming up with the rules of the place and maybe banter with the person behind the, you know, it's like how every Conan O'Brien, you know, back when the Max Weinfeld, you know, he would come out in the show and he would, hello, how's it going? And we got this. And Max is here. Come on, Max, how you doing? And they would do a little banter, and it was like that. That's the vibe I wanted. And I think when you produce, you sometimes forget to have fun. Going back to it again.
Yeah, because you get in that mode because you're trying to make sure the mics sound, everything's good, nothing, comics show up, nobody, ticket sales. You're worried about all that stuff in your mind.
The fun thing is such a major thing for me, too. I feel like I've been doing this for, like, only, like, a year and 3 months or something like that. And it wasn't until about maybe 6 months in where I was just like, I don't care, I just want to have fun. And that changed everything. Like, I just go up there and have fun.
Because how the fuck do you expect your audience to have fun if you are not fucking having fun?
Yes.
Exactly.
I agree.
What the fuck is in your fucking head where you're gonna go up there and be so fucking militant, or fucking, this is my joke, this is the A to B, and fucking I set it up, you fucking laugh, and then you realize that you're not even there with them.
No.
You're there in your notes. You're there in the way you wanted it to be, that you forget to be a fucking functional yet focal point at this moment person of society.
Yeah. Everything works so much better when you're having fun. Like, it all
totally
starts
agree.
to click, you know?
Yeah.
Totally agree.
It's kind of what drove the wedge, I think, back then, going back to the old El Paso fucking Yakuza factions, was because every major producer was trying to make a buck out of this.
That's what it was. I didn't realize it back then. I mean, I was forgiving, but I was kind of just naive, and I was like, but then I was like, you can't do this, you shouldn't do this. I'm like, no, I'm like this. First of all, none of y'all paying me. So why are you telling me I can't go over here, I can't do this? I'm like, I'm going everywhere. If there's a stage and it's lit and the light on there, I'm going to cop on that bitch, and that's it.
Yeah, I think if all you're focused on is the money, you're not going to grow as an artist.
No, the money will come if you can set it up.
Yeah.
It's the reason why, Chico Town, when you guys were doing all that stuff and I was seeing your guys' coverage and footage of it, right? Despite of how it ended up, and I don't know if it's ended yet, but I know everything's on a slowdown as fuck right now. But despite of how it did, there's enough B-roll and proven track record to be able to push that into a market because why? Those guys tried to make it into their own little fucking vibe. We never had comedy battle royales.
No.
You know what we had? We had comedians against sobriety.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. You get shit-faced and try to keep cool. And some people actually sounded better.
We stole
How did those go?
we stole that idea from. I'm just telling you the truth. If I could let Jibs get mad. We stole that idea after an after party in Albuquerque. We're doing a cigar lounge in Albuquerque that they used to do once a month, right? And I can't remember who else went with us, but after the show, so what they would do is we'd have this cigar lounge show, and then the producer of the show, she would look into the audience while the other comics out there, and whichever audience member seems like they were having the most fun, she would go up to them, talk to them, and say like, "Hey, there's a secret after party, not too far from here. If you're interested, give me X amount of money. I'm gonna give you a code and an address, right?" And whatever fucking we got to his house, and there's a guy there with a fucking money box, right? And there's people outside smoking and everything else, so it looks lively. And you get in there and it's a living room, and they just have a bunch of fucking couches and chairs and everything, and just a little stage and a mini bar, right? And so we all sit down, and then this girl in a fucking like a referee jersey comes out, and she gets the bottles and everything like that. She pours them up, and then the hosts start the show, and they said, "This is the power hour. We're only gonna do this for a fucking hour, right? Kegs over there, right? I think it was like $5 to get in,
Yeah.
right? It was packed, and all they did was they would pit you two against each other, right? No, they didn't know who the fuck you guys were, right? But the idea was, okay, name of the game, right? We start the show, fucking slam this fucking 24 ounces, just fucking slam that. You slam that too. Okay, cool. Guys, 3 minutes of comedy, go. Boom, you'd go up there, do 3 minutes. All right, boom, you go up there, 3 minutes. Crowd votes. Who did you like? And whoever lost would either have to take another shot or slam another fucking big old beer. And then round two was like, okay, round two, you do 3 minutes of his comedy, you do 3 minutes of his comedy.
Shit.
And then they had rounds, and it was like 4 or 5 rounds of just them getting so fast forward drunk to the point that it didn't matter what the round was. They were just screaming at each other, roasting each other, to the point where like Jibs and I like, we can refine this. And El Paso has such a good drunk, core.
Oh yeah, that's
That
definitely.
like we could fucking capitalize on this. And the first one we threw in Jibs' garage, which didn't help because they were also hotboxing the place. So it was a lot of us who just drunk. And then people like me who don't get high just sit there and be like, fuck, and we're just dying. and it turned into the biggest, just like, it felt like our company Christmas party. It felt like our comedy holiday Christmas party.
Yeah.
We have done so many iterations of that show. I did it once in Vegas.
Yeah.
And it got so batshit crazy that now I've incorporated puke buckets because they would fucking have puke buckets.
Ooh.
The bar owner would come out with Malort.
Oh,
right?
shit.
Yeah. And like if you really bombed, he'd be like, "Yeah, you're taking the Malort shot." And they would do it, and the rest of them like, okay. I incorporated new rounds. Or like, okay, slam is fucking really gross shot. Malort, but just another gross shot. And I'm like, okay, you gotta do 3 impersonations of famous Bills. All right. Right? And then I was like, all right, cool. Do Bill Murray, and the guy's trying to do Bill Murray. Oh, okay, Bill Clinton, trying to do Bill Clinton. Okay, Bill Cosby, and then so I can try to do Bill Cosby, and then whoever won.
That's cool, man.
See that. I think that's just putting our strengths. It's like, yeah, the professional drunk. That's just those are the funner shits to do.
Yeah, I believe it.
Like those were the things that brought everybody together.
Yeah.
Those are the moments that brought everybody together, and I think if you're going to be producing for money, and I get it. If you can make it work, fuck yeah, make it work. But don't forget to do a couple for yourself. Do a couple for your own fucking mental health. Book the weird comic.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I fucking fuck with.
Yeah. This is the thing. Like I remember when he first moved. I remember asking, "Hey man, why are you leaving?" He's like, "I have to." He's like, "I have to move. I have to get up out of here." So when he was gone, he came back. I knew that the scene was different in Vegas, and you had a lot of mics to go to compared to El Paso. So when he came back, bro, it was like, I even told him, it was like rapid fire. He did a set, I think it was with Tom Baum, and you came back, and he had to say, we're all high on shrooms and stuff, by the way. But before the shrooms kicked in, he went around basically the whole stage, the whole room, and he was just improvising. There was no setup, this is my set. He just went, I was like this. He's changed. From what I saw when he left, when he came back, it was just like, he murdered the fucking room, and I'm not over-exaggerating it. He went there, and he just got off like it was normal. I was like, just fucking did. He's like, yeah.
You had to grow, man.
He did it 10 times over, bro. And I saw it for myself, and I'm like, dude, what the...
When was the last time you watched a full set of yourself?
Oh, shit. Maybe like last month?
Yeah?
Yeah.
No pausing?
No, I actually watched it. It was all right. I just get so, I'm like this. Damn, I'm all right. I'm good, but I don't want to, I still critique yourself. He's like,
good.
Nah.
Good.
Nah, not the way I did that.
Yeah, the Mona Lisa could have used a filter, bro. It's fucking whatever. Yeah. Dude, there's still motherfuckers out there who look at Leonardo da Vinci fucking projects and they're like, this garbage, you know? There's always gonna be a fucking critique. So at the very, very least, as long as you can digest it, who gives a fuck?
Yeah, it took a while for me to be able to stand looking at myself. At first, when I first started, I couldn't stand it. I couldn't look at my set and be like, ugh.
Oh, yeah.
What the fuck is this? But then after a while, you get used to it and you go, then you start to critique yourself.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I stuttered there, or I had my head down. Because my thing was when I would say a joke and it wouldn't hit, the crowd would know because I put my head down. I'd be like this, yeah. And like the crowd's like this, oh, he's giving up. And like he's a bitch. And the crowd can smell blood. They know.
Oh, bro, I learned that crowds, if you're on a show where they paid tickets, they paid ticket price for the attempt of comedy. That's it. It was not for the promise of comedy. It was your attempt at comedy. And the thing is that obviously, as you get good at it, you know, the attempt becomes more of a consistent thing. You know, so I stopped beating myself up. Yeah, I've had some fucking really big bombs. I've had some jokes that didn't go over well. I've had sets recently that just keep me up at night. You know, and it just turns into like, well, all right.
I feel you on that.
Where did you play in the Bay when you were there?
So I did Punchline.
Sick.
The Sacramento Punchline. Shout out to Kyrie Shiraz for the fucking hospitality. I'm going back over there to the Manteca to do Def Puppy Comedy Club in 2 weeks.
Where's that?
It's Manteca, California, so it's kind of like in between. It's not Stockton, but fucking it's outside of Sac. I did. I did. So I had a run in Redding, California, that was quite possibly one of the absolute worst rooms I've ever played. And the thing is I still went back and did it again. Redding, California is the county in California that voted to take out all their voting machines because they thought they were all...
Wow.
Yeah. So whenever people say like, "Oh, California is like super liberal and everything like that," not all of it.
Not all of it. Yeah.
Redding, California was a place where I brought my feature is a guy named Jamal Coleman, right? And you can guess what color he is. Super white, super fucking racist, just super fucking racist, right? I don't even look. I don't feel like I look fucking like mega Mexican or any of that shit, but holy shit, they smelled it the fuck on me, dude.
Really?
The entire show Our host was a skinny black kid named Tanner, and you could tell they were interested in him, but he wasn't strong at the time, so that didn't go. Jamal's funny, but you could see them laughing and then like retracting. There was some tweakers there who passed out in the middle of the fucking show. Like
Damn.
they seemed like they're hot chicks because they were dressed like they were fucking hot,
Yeah.
but they were just fucking track marked out, just fucking out of shit. And then I went up there and they fought me for the first half, and then I got them.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it was going great. And at the end of the show, just as a lesson that no matter where you go, there are some people who don't have that hatred. There's just some people who are just fucking ignorant as shit. As a guy came up to us, a white dude with fucking cornrows. So let that be an indicator of what we're talking about. And then he said, it's like, oh, were you guys the comedians? Like, we're selling merch. Both Jamal and I are selling merch. And he's like, oh, you guys are comedians? And we're like, yeah. And he's like, I didn't watch the show, but I can assume it didn't go well for you guys.
Damn.
And then Jamal was like, why? And he's like, oh, because this city doesn't take well to spics and N-words.
Damn.
Fucking said it, bro. Fucking said it.
Wow.
And Tanner comes up, he's like, is there a problem here? And I'm like, no, don't fight our battles, white kid. Fucking.
Tanner.
And when we told him, like, yo, dog, you can't just come up to us and say that shit. Like, that's really fucking disrespectful. And then he said, no, I can say it. I didn't vote for Trump. Go ahead, do your downloading of that one.
Yeah.
As you, I'm not gonna lie,
Right, like-
it hit us in a weird point where he just kind of walked away, and we were just looking at each other like, and he disappeared. What the fuck?
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, dude, it's all around. That's why I say this is a small fucking mound to the rest of the fucking world. And here's the weird part: they invited me back, and I went back.
Was it better the second time around?
Fuck no, dude. Fuck no. I mean, yes. I mean, I figured I figured out how to do it.
Yeah.
But it was definitely it was like, all right, it's a paycheck. It's a fucking paycheck. Let's just fucking paycheck. You know. So we went in there and I bitched out my feature, my host, because they swore it. It was a white girl and a white guy. My feature, my host. And they swore that they were like, yeah, I got this and everything. And they just stunk up the fucking joint. So I just spent the entirety of the show. And then I found out at the end of the night that people who stuck around for an hour 15 of the show got like a free, free play card. So we were like, these motherfuckers weren't even here for comedy.
Wow.
They were fucking here so they could get $15 slot play. Fucking, By the way, Jake Daniels, thank you for the booking. I will happily go back. Just do it just as a little palate refresher of being all like, oh yeah, that's right. This is how it works.
You done any places in like San Francisco or Oakland?
I haven't done Oakland yet. San Francisco, we did a, I was gonna say gay bar, but we'll just say bar. That had some open mic. I can't remember the fucking name of it. They were having an open mic, and then one of the comics knew who I was.
Nice.
And then he was like, do you want to just go up there and bang out like a 15? And super fun, super fucking fun crowd.
Yeah, that's cool.
I like the Bay Area. They've, like they're hoity-toity, but they're fun hoity-toity.
That's where I went to college. I lived
Yeah.
there for like 18 years.
Dude.
Most of my adult life there.
I saw a guy get hit by a car, an old man get hit by a car in a fucking, oh my God, where was I? I was in San Francisco. We went to go stop at a place. 'Cause that's where we found out that you can't smoke cigarettes outside. Like there's like
yeah, they're,
designated
like-
spots.
Really?
Yeah. And I saw an old man get hit, and I was in the middle of a photo shoot. And so that photographer has me like leaning on a fucking, because they paint their trash cans like with art, art. And so I was like, oh, it says like artsy trash, and I thought like, oh, it'd be kind of cool to take a photo. And so he's taking a photo of me, and then there's a face of, and literally watching an old man get hit by a car.
Damn.
Eh. seen that shit.
You know, Thursdays.
Damn.
Step out your building. This is what happens. Chinese lady selling cocaine to drug dealers.
What's your guys' goal in comedy? Like, like? I don't want like, oh, fucking special. Like,
Yeah.
what crazy thing do you want to have happen to you because of comedy?
Because of comedy. What do you
Nah, I
got?
should go first. I gotta think that one out.
Well,
Cause I'm trying to like.
I want to do some crazy ass shows, like not normal stuff. We were talking about this.
Oh yeah, since now.
Yeah. You know, like, I don't even know like how to describe it. I was talking about like, you know, like how they have like underground raves and shit like that. Like it used to be under bridges and shit. I want to do like a comedy show like that. You know, just fucked up weird shit like this. I mean, as far as like goals, I want to be able to continue to do it and like just get funny as fuck. I want to be able to crush these stories that I've lived, and you know, sell some fucking tickets and do some big ass shows. Like, but
Yeah.
weird stuff.
Yeah.
Is what I'm into.
So I can get that experiences.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man. I just
yeah.
want to be able to like, honestly, like, kind of do what you did. Just get out of my comfort zone. You feel me? And just get the fuck out of, because it's driving me insane. I just want to just go experience shit where I can just say, you know what, man, I was doing comedy, like you said, in some weird ass place. I got kicked in the nuts by a midget or some shit. And it's something, and I got paid for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, something like that. That's life to me.
Be the host for micro wrestling.
Yeah, I saw there's an event
Yeah,
coming
it's
up soon,
this
right?
week. I think this week coming up. I think it's on a Monday, Tuesday. That's a weird thing. It's on a Monday, Tuesday.
Really?
It's not even like on a Friday. I'm like,
You want to go? Let's go.
I work, dog. I don't get off till 11. I don't want to go into it.
Damn work.
See, that always turns into like, that was the weird commitment. That was the hardest thing for me to leave, because I was making a bit of money running all these events. And I knew when I stopped them, and I did try. I tried to hand them off, and I tried to take my cuts, you know, while I was out over there, and I left other people to run it. And I was like, okay, that would be my perpetual moneymaker. Because I think when you're a comedian right now, like, making the jump to like, okay, this will be my sole source of income, makes you rethink how you approach it all. Mm-hmm. Because now, I mean, I used to get a lot of shit for people like telling me like, why are you taking in this fucking $50 gig? And I'm like, I have to. Mm-hmm. I fucking have to. I left a career doing, I was managing hotels. I was managing chains of hotels. I was doing fairly well for myself. But then I dropped everything, and I'm nowhere making the money I was making then, but I am leagues happier.
Yeah.
Because it does fucking suck.
Yeah.
It does fucking suck for a minute there, because, I mean, as a comic, you wind up realizing that, like, that whole entire, am I doing this for fun? Like, is this for fun?
Yeah.
But then there's those gigs, like the Reading gig, where you have to be like, I have to do this for bills. I have to.
Yeah.
I don't have a fucking choice.
That's what tattooing is for me.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta do butterflies every once in a while.
Yep.
Because these things gotta get paid.
And then when those crazy gigs pop up, and they fucking do.
Yeah.
It's capitalizing on it. One of my friends, Trish Smart, right? Fucking hilarious. She's so fucking
I
hilarious.
saw her on like Kill Tony or something.
Yeah. I hit on her, and she farted in my car.
Nice.
We're still friends. Whenever she comes down to Vegas, we always fucking make it a point to hang out and catch up.
Yeah.
But like, she runs she was stuck in Thailand during pandemic. She had teased the idea she was doing comedy and everything, but she was in Thailand, and then when they couldn't let her back, she just created a comedy club with all the people staying in her hostel.
Really?
Yeah, because there's a lot of people over there who speak English. So they were just all telling jokes. And now she's running the only comedy club at Burning Man.
Wow.
You know? It's like, it's all fucking there.
Yeah.
You know? It just turns into, like I said, leaving the fucking mound. It's taking a step away from this. I think every comic that has ever asked me from here in El Paso, like, hey, so should I make a big move and stuff? I'm like, go test yourself with a week in Phoenix. That's probably your next closest big scene. Phoenix is a very strong scene.
Yeah.
Go test your metal over there. Jump on the mics if you feel like you can hang, right? Which most of you guys can, right? But if you feel like you can hang out at them, they're going to invite you to more. They're really good about that. You know, and they have open mics at comedy clubs, so they see who's there, and you can make a little bit of money there too. And they have niche shows, so you could do like pick your punch, and there's just a bucket of punchlines, and it's like make the joke about this. You know, this or that, where it was like, okay, we're arguing, and your position on the argument is gonna be random. You're gonna find out the second you touch the mic. Like, okay, now I need you to argue why you hate breastfeeding in public. And you have to argue why you want it for. And then the crowd votes who they like, and whoever wins gets to close out the show with a 20-minute set.
Nice.
And there's
that's pretty
fucking
nice.
people who buy tickets for this. Just explore. And if it's not there, create it.
Makes
Create
sense.
it.
That makes sense.
That's why I had to leave El Paso. Because I realized I no longer, all the things that were tying me down weren't allowing me to create anything new. And I need to. Or
Yeah.
else I fucking die.
It makes perfect sense.
Do you have to tell this story a lot?
I think it's kind of cathartic
Yeah.
sometimes. But I realize that I tell it more whenever I'm on the road.
Yeah.
Because I'll always get comics who, like, I'm not shit. I'm not shit, right? Nobody's. I'm not fucking selling out fucking big ass rooms or any of that shit. But a lot of your famous comedians know who the fuck I am, and a lot of them wonder. They're like, okay, so how'd you get there from starting off at Coconuts?
So what's your current goals? Like, what are you pushing for?
So, well, I mean, everything right now, it's been travel.
Yeah.
Travel has been the whole entire expansion. We've got a lot of things in the works. I've had I had a couple people approach me about filming a special. A couple big things wanted to film a special, and I turned them down because I think the places that I would want to go and perform and everything like that don't care whether or not you have a special or not.
Yeah.
You know, and I have to do it kind of my way. I wanna. The idea is I do the stories for an hour, but then there's a separate room where you guys are watching the playback of it being filmed live, and there's a live mic of you guys just talking shit. So there's a second audio commentary.
While you're doing yours?
Yeah. So you're watching my special. You can watch it once, and there's my stories and everything. That's great.
Yeah.
But then you watch it again, and there is a hot mic in another room with. So it's like instead of director's commentary, it's kind of like maybe like a heckler's commentary, but it's of all the comics and people who are part of that.
That's what they pitched at you?
They wanted me originally. They wanted me to do like a big showy thing, and I was all like, hey, what if I had like plants in the crowd, right? And then we hard cam to the story, like, oh man, I know this guy Otis, and then just Ransomware just passed through. And like nobody knows except for us, you know? And they said no, and I was all like, okay, well, what if I film, like, this is an example of film you telling the story of what the fuck happened.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
And then so that way it corroborates a lot of the stories that I wind up telling. So it's not like not making them up. And they're like, still more. And I was just like, okay, how about, and everything I pitched, they just like, can't you just do a straight special? And I was like, dude, have you watched the set? There's nothing I can do that I want to do typically.
So you wanted the other room with the...
I kind of wanted it. I like the idea
Oh, okay,
of
I
it.
wasn't sure about that.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea of it. Yeah, I know it sounds very, very convoluted and almost like self-suck dicky, but I also really wanted to have, any way I could fit the people who are really close to me into the big things that I've done. Like, that's what I would have wanted to do. So
That sounds cool.
That's kind of a Vegas vibe, don't you think? Because I remember when I went to Vegas and we did the dirty 12:30. We're in the back in the green room stuff, and I was just watching them because I observe people, and then if people are eating a dick out there, they're just like laughing, talking about their sets in the background.
The green room is about as big as like this.
Yeah.
Right? And the stage is like, we're right next to the fucking audience. So that's why they were like, come in and be like, shut up, guys.
Yeah.
So if they're eating shit, that's where I learned the whole entire thing. Like, don't shush us. Tell them to be funnier. So that way what the fuck? Like, how is this our fault? Like, if they were funny, they couldn't
That's a
fucking
good
hear
point.
us.
Yeah.
That shit was funny. I was like observing that shit. I was like, cause the scene there is a little different. I noticed from Austin or anything like that. You guys, for the most part, you guys all pretty much know each other, which is crazy.
So nobody in Vegas, very few, I should say, got started in Vegas. Everybody who's there is from another scene. So every comic that I've ever met, that have ever put me on, I used to open for here. So working Bart's, introduced me to all the comics that I'm friends with now. And I mean, at the time, it was very, very like, hello, sir, I've seen you've done all these things. It's a big fan and everything. And now I see him in Vegas almost every fucking week. And so now we're like homies, I can call Greg Wilson. I can call Shang. I can call fucking Adam Hunter, I can call fucking Rich Voss. And it's a weird thing that I could have never have done here. And I can ask them for advice. Hey, what can I do? What should I do? What should I do about this? How should I play this?
Yeah.
When I ran into Stanhope at Skankfest, and Stanhope remembered me. Bro, I'm not gonna lie.
That's
mega
awesome.
emotional.
Yeah.
Mega emotional. Because you don't think it'll happen. But it's
Yeah.
all these little connections and the friendships you wind up fucking making and just not coming across. I'm not gonna say don't be a fucking asshole, but I'm gonna say don't be an unjustifiable asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you. I hear you. That's why I noticed the vibes are a little different. Like, and then like, you know how like in every scene you go to, there's like a multiverse of the same person. Like honestly, there's been places where I've been like, oh, you remind me of this guy, but you're just in a different city, and it's the same person, but maybe instead of being Hispanic, they're white, or it's a black version of the white guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy, bro.
There's a Crash Out. There's the filmmaker comic. There's the fucking our favorite ones are the ones where they would just call them, oh, that's the black comic. Now it's not to say you're the black comic because there's a lot of them,
Yeah.
but it's the one that just he does all the stereotypical black shit. There's the Mexican comic who does all the stereotypical Mexican shit. Right? We came up with that when there was a comic who called himself the 420 comic. Right? And I'm like, let me guess what you're gonna talk about. Let me fucking guess. So imagine this: you go up on stage and you talk about smoking weed, right? Guess what? That guy's gonna be like, "Shut the fuck up! That's my thing." And you're like, "Okay, bitch." Like, but that exists. It's a fucking weird thing, So that's why it's like, be you, dude. Fucking.
That's why I think stories are so good because they're unique to you.
Yeah, no one can bite them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to bite a story. Dog. A concept or a premise they can.
Yeah.
But a story you can't bite.
That's
That's your
your story,
experience.
yeah.
And the way you deliver it and how you deliver it. They can try to copy it, but it's automatically somebody be like, nah.
That didn't happen to you.
Yeah, a premise, anybody can steal a
Yeah,
premise.
that's premises, yeah.
They're like, oh, well, you brought it out, but I finished it. But a story, it's like the sex shop story.
Yeah.
And we used to work at a sex shop. So when I was talking about shit, all I see him in the back like this. He's the only person nodding. Everybody else is like, what the fuck? This is disgusting.
Yep.
This is sick. He's like this. And he'll be like, hey, you ever sell this? Did you sell that? And I'm like, yeah, I did. Did you clean the back rooms? Yeah, I did. And he saw it. Yeah, like, yeah, me too. And I can't talk to anybody else like that.
I saw a guy, I don't want to say I saw the guy, but I know they went into our little mini theater, and there's a dude who definitely took in a cucumber, never saw the cucumber. When I went to go clean the theater, the cucumber had a condom on it,
Ooh.
but the back end had a bite out of it. And my question is like, okay, what came first?
Right.
He was like, wow, I'm hungry, man. Fuck. Oh. All right. That's always stuck with me. There's a mystery I have to this day.
Dude, it's always, you always see produce. I don't know what it was.
Really?
Every time I came to the rooms, it's produce. It's either cucumber, corn on the cob, and then those long ass weenies people make, like those long ass weenies from Albertsons. You see that?
Really?
You would see. And one time I saw a hammer, and one of those. I don't know how they got it in there, but it was one of those like small traffic cones that are orange.
What the fuck?
And somebody somebody sat on it, and I don't know how they brung it in. I don't know how it was like that small, but I'm like, how the hell did you bring this in?
Fucking already walked in with it.
Oh.
Only way.
Goddamn. Okay.
See, I can't see you making a face. Me and him are like this. That's a normal average
It's
day.
a Tuesday.
That's a Tuesday.
We're that section of Law and Order, right? Law and Order criminal intent can never understand what happens in Special Victims Unit. Okay, we're all part of the same fucking thing, but we're gonna sit there being all like, "I shoved it up where?" And they'll be like, "Yeah, Thursdays."
Hammer too?
I'm telling you, exactly. It's that one guy looks at DA evidence and goes, man, I wonder what that is. And then one guy goes, oh, that's semen. Just go, that's semen. Don't worry about it. Been here.
I'll be like, he's 35.
There's only a few people I can talk about that. When I talk about some of the stuff I can't really talk about on stage because it's not really a joke. It's just something I've seen. I can't make it funny. I just go, and then I saw people's faces. They're just like,
That sounds like a good challenge.
dude, it's hard to
It's
make
rough.
that funny.
It's tough. I mean, it's fuck, dude. Okay, I'll debut this because it's not even my fucking story to tell. Last night,
Yeah.
I was hanging out at the comedy club, and it was one of the OGs. This guy did it way before I did here in El Paso. He got started in '99, right? His name is George Jimenez. He's now a cop, right? He became a cop. He just happened to come into the comedy club, and I'm never at the comedy club, so it was just a weird, serendipitous thing that we're all fucking there.
Yeah.
And at some point, we're all comics are hanging out. We make a joke about one of the comedians getting molested, right? And comic here, Paul, says, I was molested. And we all start making fun of him. But the older comic, George, is like, wait, guys, this isn't funny. Have you been molested? And Paul's like, yeah, my uncle. Like I did it. I mean, he's in jail now, whatever, right? And that delivery is like what all comics do whenever we're just going along with the bit.
Yeah.
It gets to a fucking standstill where now he's pulled him aside and is like, you can talk to me. And they're having a very serious, we couldn't tell whether or not tears were getting like brought up and everything. But we see a very, very real interaction of like, hey, you're still strong. You've come out so far. It's just like, yeah. Okay. And all the comedians are watching this.
Yeah.
And we're all looking and we're like, he's fucking lying. I don't know Paul that well, but I know him enough to be able to call out, this motherfucker just got called, like his bluff called, and now he's being interrogated and counseled. And they are talking for, I'm probably downplaying it, 15 minutes.
Oh, God.
Separated to the point that the girl who was there with George came by and talked with us, and she's like, what was that? And we told her too. We're like, we think he's lying. Like, he's so full of shit right now. And it gets really sincere and very, very, and we're cracking jokes on and we're now, like, it's gone so long that we start like out loud saying, like, he's not even that cute. Like, who fucking want to molest him? And we can see Paul, like, he knows that he can hear us. And he's like looking at us, but he's not like gesturing any of that shit and everything, right? Javi's there too, and Javi's just all like, "Guys, no, I saw a picture of me. He's a sharp fat fuck. Who the fuck would want to fuck that, right?" And it gets so funny that when they finally disengage each other, George and his girl leave, and then I had to ask him. I was like, "Yo, Paul, okay, we need to know. Were you really molested?" And he was like, "Yeah, when I was 7." And I was like, "You fucking lying piece of... Drop the bit, you motherfucker." But here's the thing. He's probably telling the truth now. He had the moment to come clean. But I'm like, "Oh, your commitment to this fucking bit. Oh, you piece of shit, dude. If I don't see police records, dude, motherfucker."
What the fuck?
Shout out, Paul. You fucked me up yesterday with that one. I mean, hey, if you were molested, please seek help. But also, don't be a comedian and just tell people you got molested. None of us are going to believe you.
Him and Javi both talked about them being molested on the podcast.
Yeah?
Yeah, they did.
Wait, were they molested?
I-
This is...
I just always took it as a bit, and you know what I mean? I don't fucking know, though.
I think, yeah. Hobby part, yeah. I think Hobby.
Well, yeah,
he was
Javi
being
was
real.
saying, I was like, "Was there any lube?" And he was like, "Blood." And I was like, "Oh, vampire lube."
Oh, shit.
It's got that HIV with gravy.
Oh, my God. Enough said.
But I think that's the curse of comedians.
Yeah, it's like,
Right?
yeah.
It's just, you think everything's a joke? Yeah.
Yeah,
They use it in their fucking shit, so.
Yeah.
yeah, being real
You
with
know?
it. But yeah, that's crazy. Wow. See what I miss out on when I don't go to the comedy club and stuff? Yeah, I miss out on, dog. I miss out on good stuff.
Yeah. Hey, you'll still have time to get molested.
I'm
Yeah.
good. I'm good. Thank
Still
you.
very, very much.
Oh, I know you got a show later.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like, I know, like,
Okay.
yeah, I know he has a show, dog.
Do you want to plug any dates or anything? on
Yeah,
the-
because I know you're traveling now.
I mean, everything's branded. Adam J. Dominguez. We got shadow banned on Instagram, so
Oh, damn.
What? How the hell that happen?
long story. Just try not to get involved with apps that pay you money to do commercials for them. You'll still get paid, but then it'll totally stunt shit for you.
Damn.
So while we're battling that, so Adam J. Dominguez on everything. If you haven't followed on Instagram, keep trying. But everything's out over there. We got upcoming dates in Tucson. We got upcoming dates in NorCal. We're going back. We'll be back in Texas area this summer. We'll be in Albuquerque, closing out in June, and then July. Expect me to be fucking everywhere. Austin, Oklahoma. Go back to Arizona. We're gonna do a whole fucking mess. If you want me to go anywhere, let me know, because we've got that frontier. No, but yeah, follow up everything else, and don't just if you can, we're gonna collab on this, but follow them if you're following me, and fucking give them love, right?
Appreciate
Because
it. Thank you.
realistically, like when else are you gonna see this kind of, if this wasn't a Wes Anderson film right now?
So many
Please,
different races of people
just so many.
all at once.
Yeah.
This is a very fun UN. But no, so go support your favorite local entertainer.
I appreciate the love, man. Like, honestly, like,
Hell yeah.
you're making El Paso proud, dog, representing out there. So all of us are proud of you, especially here in Trico Town. I know definitely. Every time you come back, you always get a big welcome.
I did it for The Rock.
That's stupid, bro. This is how I was in Vegas the whole time, dog. He would just be saying outlandish shit, and I'm just cracking the fuck up laughing. It was like that, especially in the green room, dog. And then honestly, like, he knows the spots in Vegas. I call him Mr. Vegas to be like, he knows where to go. Like, nah, I wouldn't go there. Nah, you don't want to. Nah, after 9:30, I wouldn't do that.
After 9:30.
I will openly say that they have gotten to the point where they will say, "Oh, is Adam drunk in Vegas?" And they'll be like, yeah. And they're like, okay, but is Adam El Paso Adam right now? And then apparently that's like an extra level
Oh shit.
of like, woof, okay, yeah, he needs to, we gotta slow down now. Hey, luckily, guys, by the time you're watching this, I will have quit drinking.
Yo, I see that day. That'll be a day. If I ever see you quit drinking, dog, that'll be the day, bro. Shit, I'll probably start back drinking by the time you quit.
Let's see where we're at.
Yeah, what time does my show start? My show starts at 8? What time does my show start?
I think at 9, man.
We went an hour and 25 minutes.
Oh, that's a good record.